This tutorial is about the modified pulse method. So in the last video I have discussed about level pool routing, and where it states that when some inflow is coming into the reservoir due to heavy rainfall in the upstream. So in case of routing, our main job is to find the nature of the hydrograph at the outlet of a reservoir or channel or a watershed. This level pool routing is about reservoir or storage routing. So when we are restricting the flow of water in a river, we generally use the reservoir or level pool routing there. So here we have also discussed that when I is a function of T, right, and the storage of water inside the reservoir is also a function of T, outflow is also a function of T, and the water elevation is also a function of T. But however, it can also be noted that the outflow and storage is also the function of elevation, water elevation. Because more the water elevation, more will be the outflow, if we allow the water to be flown out. So from the continuity equation we have found this, that the average inflow multiplied by the time period minus average outflow multiplied by the time period is equals to the change in storage. Time period means the difference between the time when the flood or the inflow of water has left the reservoir minus the time at which the inflow of water enters the reservoir. So in that case, reservoir level pool routing has its own methodology to calculate the outflow hydrograph, the characteristic of outflow hydrograph. But today's topic is not level pool routing, but another method of reservoir routing, which is known as modified pulse method. Modified pulse method. So here also I have written that same equation that we have discussed in that earlier video on level pool routing. So this is the derived from continuity equation, and this can be written as this. So I mean or I average is actually I1 plus I2 by 2, where I1 is actually the inflow entering time into the system, in this case reservoir. So when some amount of water enters the reservoir, that time is recorded as 1, and when it is going out of the reservoir, that time is recorded as 2. Okay, so it is also often known as start or end time of a time period. Start is 1, end is 2. Take this example. This is one of the good example, I would say. That what is that example? Let me see. This example, you see, this is a flood coming into a reservoir which hit the reservoir at time 0. This 0 indicates the time at which the flood has hit the reservoir, and this 6 indicates a time step, the next time step, when the flood has already entered the reservoir and doing its and impacting the existing hydrograph there. So this is 1, the entering time, this is 2, the finishing time. This is 0 is the initial time, 6 is the finishing time. Again, for these two, 6 to 12, 6th hour to 12th hour, the initial time is 6, finishing time or the ending time is 12, and so on. Okay. So this is the way it is, and so I1 is the inflow of water at the initial time plus I2 is the inflow of water at the ending time of the time period by 2, and del T is the length of the time period. In this case it is 6. 6 is the ending time, 0 is the starting time, 6 minus 0 is the length of the period, which is indicated by del T. Similarly for Q, this is the outflow, Q at 1 plus Q at 2 divided by 2. So Q at 1 means at the time the flood has entered the reservoir, or the entering or the initial time of the period. So Q1, this one Q1. So here it is inflow is written, but it would be outflow for Q1. So Q1 plus Q2 divided by 2 means outflow at time, entering time or initial time, plus outflow at the ending time, divided by 2 multiplied by del T, the length of time period, or in our case it is 6 minus 0, 6. Okay, so, and S2 minus S1 is 2 and 1 is the same thing. S2 means storage at the ending time minus storage at the initial time. Okay, so S2 minus S1 is the storage which has changed due to the incoming flood within the time period of del T. So from this equation again you can arrange the same equation, this one, okay, into this one. So this, let us say this is LHS, this is RHS, left hand side, right hand side. If you note, left hand side is known to us at the initial time, correct? This is inflow, so I know what is coming in and what is going out. Del T, of course we know. S1 is the initial storage, Q1 is the initial outflow, and del T is the time period, and by 2. So all this term I1, I2, S1, Q1, all is known, because all is happening in the initial time scale. It is not happening in the final time scale. So this will be equals to S2, this is the final storage, plus Q2, this is the final outflow, into del T by 2. Okay, so always remember, in case of 1 and 2, it indicates, this is very important thing, subscript 1 and 2 indicates start and end of the time period. What is coming in and what is going out, that is what is indicated by subscript 1 and subscript 2. At the time of inflow, at the start of time, how much water is coming in, and at the end of the time period, how much water is coming in. So here it is incoming. And if you want to average that inflow, it is simple, I1 plus I2 divided by 2 multiplied by del T. I1 plus I2 by 2 is the average inflow, multiplied by del T means within this time period how much water has come in, has entered into the reservoir. But in case of S1, this is the S1 is storage at the starting time, okay, and Q1 is the outflow at the starting time, outflow from the reservoir itself. So let me give this example. Suppose at the 10 am a flood hydrograph hits a reservoir. So at 10 am is the starting time, okay, and then after 6 hours means at 4 pm, what is happening? At 4 pm also flood water is coming in, either in a more diminishing manner or increasing manner. It is depends upon the rainfall in the upstream, but it is coming in, inflow is coming in. So the water entering at 10 am and water entering at 4 pm, you can add them and divide them by 2 to find the average inflow. Okay, but in case of S1, that indicates that at 10 am what is the amount of storage in the reservoir, in that reservoir. Q1 means what is the amount of water. So Q1 means what is the amount of water going out as outflow discharge at the time of 10 am. So 1 indicates the starting time and 2 indicates the finishing time. In this example which I give just now, 4 pm is the finishing time, that is the 2. Okay, so this 1 and 2 is a very important subscript. So in case of Q1 and Q2, that indicates that what is the amount of water going out from the reservoir at 10 am and what is the amount of going out of the reservoir at 4 pm. So 1 is the 10 am, 2 is the 4 pm. When the next time period begins, 4 pm is the 1 plus 6, 10 pm is the 2. In the third time period, 10 pm is the 1, 4 am is the 2, because 6 hour time period it is. Okay, and this H2 and S1, it is H2 is the, what is the storage of the reservoir at 4 pm, if I am considering about the initial time period. If I am trying to consider the initial time period. And minus S1 means what was the storage at the time 10 am. So S2 is the storage at 4 pm, S1 is the storage at 10 am. So within this time period, what is the storage at the finishing time, that is S2, at the initial time S1. So the difference between it is the change of storage. And why this change of storage happens? Due to that flood coming inside the reservoir. So as yes, that. And remember, this outflow is a function of not only time, it is also the function of elevation of the water stored in the reservoir. That means, to be more precise, water level. Okay, so this outflow is dependent on the water level of the reservoir. The storage is also dependent on the water level of the reservoir. Here water level is indicated as elevation. So we will indicate the water level as E. And as you know, I is the inflow, subscript 1 and 2 indicate start and end time period, I have already discussed. D is the reservoir discharge or outflow. T is the time. Del T is the difference of time or length of the time period. This also I have already discussed. S is the storage. So the problem is, let us explain this method with the help of a problem. The given is this one: elevation, storage, outflow, discharge. So elevations are given of a reservoir. Storage, amount of water stored in the reservoir, is given corresponding to its elevation, and corresponding to the discharge, how much water it is outflowing. When the elevation is 100.5, 3.472 megameter cube is the storage, and we are releasing 10 cubic water from the reservoir when the elevation is 100.5. So these data will be given to you when you are trying to do a problem on modified pulse method or any other routing method, reservoir routing or channel routing. So it states that flood hydrograph that hit the reservoir when its elevation is 100.5 meter. That means it says that when the elevation is at 100.5 meter, a flood hits the reservoir, enters the reservoir due to the huge rainfall in the upstream. The flood water comes inside the reservoir. This reservoir is of course located in the river channel, upstream of which that rainfall has occurred, and due to which the excess water is coming inside the reservoir. So flood hydrograph that hit the reservoir when its elevation is 100.5 meter. And this is the hydrograph it has given. 6-hour time difference, as I have already said. In this problem, 6-hour time difference. If this time was given like 0, 3, 6 to 9, 12 like this, I would have said 3-hour time period. Okay. So if it is like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then I would say 1-hour time period. Lesser the time period, accurate will be the result. Okay. So the time and its corresponding inflow has been given here. So time 0 means the initial time, the starting time of the flood when it enters the reservoir, and at that time the elevation was 100.50 meter. Okay. So if suppose I say that at 10 am the flood enters the reservoir, so the 0 indicates that 10 am. How much water enters the reservoir? 10 cubic meter per second. Second, 6 hour, after 6 hour, that means 10 plus 6 hour means it is 4 pm. So at 4 pm, how much water is coming in? 20 cubic meter per second. Okay, so after then 4 pm, then plus 6 hour, that means at how much? 4 pm, then you multiply 6 hour with that, 10 pm. So at 10 pm, what amount of water is coming? That is given. So these are all inflow, not outflow, remember. Inflow of water due to that excess rainfall and the causing of flood. The problem is route the flood into the reservoir and obtain the flood hydrograph by the modified pulse method. That means you have to find the corresponding outflow of this, or corresponding outflow hydrograph of this inflow hydrograph. This inflow, you can create a hydrograph from this inflow, because hydrograph is discharge versus time, and you can easily create when discharge is given, time is given, you can easily draw the hydrograph. So that will be your input hydrograph. And the problem wants you to design or determine or approximate the output hydrograph by the modified pulse method. Okay, so how to solve it? So that for that I will open Excel spreadsheet where I am doing this problem or solving this problem rather. I will share this spreadsheet with you also. So similarly, you see this is the data given, same data you see, and the hydrograph, flood hydrograph is given here, same thing, this one. So what will be your first step of this method? Your first step will be to find S plus Q into del T by 2. What is that term? Let me see. You see, after rearranging S plus Q del T by 2, this is in the RHS, this part is unknown. So you must calculate that part. S2 plus Q del T by 2. S2 means storage at the end time of the time period. Outflow of water Q2 at the end time. Del T is the time difference or time period, length of time period. By 2 it is RHS. This is entirely unknown to you. So how to get that? Yes, from this data you will get that. So S2, here S2, you can see S2 is given, this one, right or wrong, S2 is given. So S2 plus, S means S2, S plus Q2 into del T. So what is Q2? This one is the Q2, right? This one is the Q2, this one. So in the manner, this one is the Q2. That is what I want to say. Okay. So this is Q2 gone. So Q2 you have been given, storage you have been given. What mode you require? You require the del t. So del t you require. So del t is what? That time, length of time period. I have already discussed that that was 6 hours. And as discharge is in meter cube per second, so it is better to convert this hour into second. So you just multiply 60 into 60 with 6 hours. 6 hour into 60 into 60. So this will come to this 0.0216, but multiplied by 10 to the power 6. So that is, you see here, not multiplied, it is, 10 to the power, if I multiply it is 10 to the power minus 6. If I divide, it is 10 to the power 6. Okay, so this is 10 to the power 6 is to shorten the term only, nothing very serious about that. So we have this S plus del t, we calculated, and it comes as 3.350 for the initial time scale. So similarly you have to calculate for the initial time scale for the initial elevation and storage and discharge. This is the S plus Q del T by 2. That means the RHS, that is the RHS of this equation. Where the equation is this one. For this RHS, we have calculated 3.350 as the what it can be said, storage discharge. S is there, Q is there, so it is known as storage discharge per time. So this is what is that. It has been calculated from this only, and this only. 6 hours are converted to 0.0216 by multiplying 60 into 60 and dividing 10 to the power 6 from it. So remember that division by 10 to the power 6 is only to shorten that digit, otherwise it will be very big. Okay, so similarly you have this one is calculated for the storage 3.350. Now you calculate the same for 3.472, 3.880 and so on. Okay, this one and this one, it is coming this one and this one, coming this one and this one, coming this one, and so on. After doing that, you have to draw two graphs you have to draw. One graph is Q versus outflow versus elevation graph. This will be Y, this one, and this will be X. First graph. Okay, so this is it. Okay, so this is the actually what is known as the first graph, outflow versus elevation. Second one will be this column versus this column. That means this column versus the elevation column. The same elevation that you use for drawing the outflow discharge versus elevation curve, that same elevation will be used to draw this one also. This is actually the RHS of that rearranged continuity equation, RHS, that you have calculated in the last step. This will be in the Y, this one will be in the Y, and E will be the elevation. So both the graph has elevation it as its base, as its x-axis. But Y it is changing. For one it is outflow discharge, and for the other it is RHS. This is for the outflow, this is for the RHS. So this is elevation, this is outflow, as well as the RHS of that rearranged continuity equation. After doing this, the third thing is, it will depend upon you, what you will do. You can either use the trend function or the linear regression function, which can be detected or determined very easily by calculating the slope of this curve, and also by calculating the slope of this curve. So, or you can use the Excel function trend. Trend is a function which will give you a predicted y for a known x and known y. If you put known x and known y, the formula will give you the predicted y. You see, for two things you have to do, two curve, outflow versus elevation. I already said. Another one is elevation versus that RHS. You have already drawn RHS versus elevation curve. Just reverse it, you will get the elevation versus RHS curve. So for that, what we will do is, I am giving an example of this one, outflow versus elevation curve. Elevation is in x, outflow is the y. So how to find the trend? Trend is your known x versus, first you give the known, first you give the known y. Okay, in our case D3 to D10 has that known y. First case, known y will be given to him, that is D3, D10. Why I have used this dollar term? Because when I will pull them down now, so if there is no dollar sign, this D3 will change to D4, this D10 will change to D11. If I pull again another row, D4 will change to D5, D11 will be changed to D12. But if you give this dollar sign, then this change will not happen. Otherwise it is automatic and it will create problem. So this D3 to D10 is the known y, this B3 to B10 will be the known x, and this B4, what is this B4? B4 is the new x for which you want to know the y. Okay? So new x for which you want to know the y. So in this case, what is new x? B4. New x will be the elevation, because x axis has the elevation, y axis has the outflow. So this formula in Excel will give you the new y, that is new outflow. So all these things are actually the outflow, which were predicted as a function of this elevation. And this outflow is the real one. This is the given outflow, and this is the predicted outflow. Now, if you do not have this Excel function, Excel with you, and you have to do it by hand only, it is very easy for then also. You know what is y, you know what is x. So only thing that you have to find is m. M is the slope. And how to find out the m? You can find m by y1 minus y2 divided by x1 minus x2. Right? This thing you know very well, because y1 minus y2 divided by x1 minus x2. So if I take this curve, outflow versus elevation curve, so this is our y2, this point, or let me see about this. It is a continuous process. This is y2, this is y1, correct? This is x2, this x point, 100.5 minus 100, x2. Okay, so what is the slope of the curve from this point to this point? That can be found out by the value of y2 minus y1, value of it divided by x2 minus x1. So that is actually the slope. And to find y, you have to multiply the slope with the value of x when x is given, or the value of mu x. That is the linear equation for straight line. Okay, so in case of, if you have Excel, you can do another thing also. Just select it, add trend line, linear, and also you use the display equation on chart. Remember to display it. Then what happen? This is your linear equation. Put new value of new x is here in place of x, and you will get the value of y for that corresponding new x. Here x is the elevation, y is the outflow. Exactly in the similar manner, You can do the same for this one, RHS versus elevation curve. Or rather elevation versus RHS curve. It is just the opposite, nothing else. Okay. So by this also you can find out these values. Initially you have to find the values of the, you have to predict the outflow for these elevations only. Yes, they are already known to you, this because this charge corresponding to these elevations are given. But still you can calculate to know the error, because to find the error you have to deduct this 10, this is the actual one, from this 10.697, this is the observed one, and divided it by the actual one. So you will find what is the error. Because for any prediction you must know the error. Error means the difference between the actual predicted and the actual value. And if you divide the actual value from that difference between the predicted and actual value of the discharge, then you will get the relative error. Okay. So for the first one, outflow versus elevation, and for the second one, elevation versus RHS. That means you will just reverse it. Elevation versus RHS. Either you use the trend function or you use this slope thing that I have discussed just now. Or otherwise you can also use that purely graphical method, because let us say for 100.5, this is 100.5. So our question is that this is the outflow versus elevation. So if I want to know what is the outflow for elevation of 100.5, so for a graphical method to do it, you have to do this. 100.5 is this point in the x-axis, on the x-axis, and draw a perpendicular, and at the point where the perpendicular is cutting this curve, okay, so that point's y value will be your answer. Because if you extend another perpendicular from that cutting point to the y-axis, then that value where that perpendicular is touching the y-axis will give you the value of outflow. So that way also you can do it. Just draw a perpendicular from the x point upon the curve, and at the point where the curve cuts the perpendicular, you draw another perpendicular from that cutting point to the y-axis, so that the perpendicular where it falls on the y-axis will give the value of y. For this one also and for this one also, both are same. So, but remember, in one case you have to find the y as outflow, x as elevation. In another case you have to find elevation as the y and RHS as the x. That means when I am giving RHS, it will give me elevation for this point. So this is very easy, just reverse it and everything is make x as y and y as x, you find it. And for this part, for elevation, I will give the elevation, you have to find me the outflow. So this part, this column is indicating the outflows whenever I am giving you elevation. And this part, it is giving elevation whenever I am entering RHS. Is it clear now? So now let me go to the back to this table. Average inflow is you have calculated I1 plus I2 divided by 2. So here is 10 plus 20 divided by 2, 50. 20 plus 55 divided by 2, 37.5, and so on. Then you multiply average inflow with the del t, the time difference or the length of time period, which is 6 hours, and it is converted into second and divided by 10 to the power 6. So when you do all this thing, it will give you the average I is there into del t. Now my next work will be to find the S minus del t into Q by 2. Remember at the beginning I have said that all these LHS are known. So at the initial time period I know S minus Q del t by 2. That is why that initial elevation was 100.5. So for that elevation I have already calculated S minus Q into del t by 2. How? It is very easy. Just S is this S. This is corresponding S of the elevation at which the flood is striking the reservoir. So S is this S, Q is this Q, and del t is the del t. So just multiply and it will get 3.364. Now you see 3.364 is coming. So now if you observe this table only, you find average I into del t. This is the point, correct? This is the point. Average I into del t. Let me show it in a good color. This is the del t. This is we have already, correct? Send to back. Yes, this we have already. This S minus Q del t by 2 I have already calculated and put in here 3.364. This is 3.364. So LH is known. This part is known. This part is known. So I can easily calculate this part. So that is what I have done here. This is the first part of the LHS. This is the second part of the LHS. First part, second part of LHS. Okay. And then what happens? We just by adding this one with this one, we will find this one. S plus del t into Q by 2, which is our desired. Right? This one. This is the RHS, which is we do not know. So we find that we now got it. Now you again see that in that earlier step, we have found out the elevation versus S curve, and with the help of trend function, I can predict elevation with respect to any this RHS term, S plus Q del t by 2. So here I have found out that the elevation is the S plus del t into Q by 2, the RHS term is 3.688. So you put that 3.688 into this one and you will find that you see S plus Q del t, I have put it like 3.688. Once I put it, then and there it calculates the elevation 100.514. And when they are calculating the elevation, you know, I have also calculated the outflow versus elevation, and I have also trained it. Here outflow is predicted with the value of x, which is elevation. So the moment it is getting the elevation, we can easily get the value of this outflow, which is 11.325. So the first instance is gone. First time period ends and its corresponding elevation and discharge I have calculated. Now what I will do? So this is, you see, 3.688 is the RHS. So now what you will do? That is the question. This is the most interesting moment of this entire problem. So what you will do is, you will just deduct Q del t. So you will just deduct Q del t. Which Q? This Q that you have determined in the previous step. From the S plus del t Q by 2, whatever value you have got, 3.688, with the help of the trend function, you will find the elevation from the trend function of elevation versus RHS curve. And once you get the elevation, you have also got the outflow from the outflow versus elevation curve. So what happened is that, as I was told that from, so by repeating this step, okay, you will find another hydrograph. Okay, what you will repeat, you see the first thing, you see whenever you are getting this S plus del T into Q by 2, that is the RHS, and putting it into the trend function of this curve, elevation versus RHS, then you will get a new elevation. Once you get the new elevation, automatically a discharge will come from this trend function of outflow versus elevation curve. So you get Q, new elevation, put it here, and then what happens, from the previous time step S plus del T Q by 2, this is the previous RHS, you subtract 11.325, the derived discharge or predicted discharge for the previous time step, multiplied by del T, this 6 hour converted to second. So del T multiplied by the Q of previous discharge, predicted Q of previous discharge, or previous time step rather. You subtract that product, that Q del T. Q is the predicted discharge for the previous time step. Del T is the length of the time period, which is 6 hours converted to second. You deduct this product from the previous steps RHS, or the RHS of the previous step, and you will find the S minus del T into Q by 2 of the current step. And then you add this one and this one, you will get a new RHS. And you again put that new RHS into this equation, this trend function of elevation versus RHS. And you will find a new one, you will find first a new elevation, then a new discharge, because elevation is again dependent upon the discharge. And these are all coming from the trend function. So this is with the discharge. Now again multiply del T with this discharge and deduct it from this RHS, and you will get the new S minus del T into Q by 2 of the current time step. And then we add this average I into del T with S minus del T Q by 2 of the current time step, and you will find the S plus del T into Q by 2 or RHS of the current time step. And again you put it into this equation, get a new elevation, and once that new elevation is got, automatically this new outflow will come. Okay, so this outflow will again be used to multiply with del T and deducted from the current previous that RHS of the previous time step. You will get the S minus del T into Q by 2 of the current time step. Then add current time step average I into del T and current time step S minus del T into Q by 2, and you find the current time step RHS. And then when you find it, you put it into that equation, trend function of that elevation versus RHS curve, and then you will get a new elevation and new discharge automatically from that outflow versus elevation curve, and so on, and you will get a new discharge. And if you draw it, this one is the inflow hydrograph, that is the given hydrograph. This one, the flood hydrograph that has come when the reservoir elevation was, or water level was at 100.5 meters. This one, and this one is the routed hydrograph. And you see the difference in peak. For this it is 80, for this it is 73, I think no, 70.425, it is around 10. So this difference is known as attenuation. Another thing to note is in the inflow hydrograph or the observed hydrograph, the peak was achieved. The peak was achieved at the 18th hour, correct? Whereas the peak of the routed hydrograph was achieved at the 24th hour. Just drop a perpendicular from 80 to this x-axis, you get the time taken to reach peak. Again for this one also drop a perpendicular from this point to the x-axis and you will get the time that routed hydrograph has taken to reach peak. So the difference is 10, so this 10 is the peak difference or attenuation. Sorry, the peak, the magnitude of discharge at the peak, which is the maximum, and that difference is the attenuation. But however, this peak was achieved at 18th hour by the observed hydrograph and 24th hour by the routed hydrograph. So that is 6 hour difference. So this is known as lag or translation. So 6 hour will be the lag and peak difference is 10. So attenuation is 10 and this translation is 6 hours. So this one is the first one. This is the inflow hydrograph, the flood hydrograph that enters the reservoir at the time when it is at the water level of 100.5 meters. But when it is going out, the characteristics of the hydrograph changes, its peak diminished, and also the peak has been reached little longer compared to the inflow hydrograph, and accordingly there is a 6 hour lag and a difference of 10 megameter cube in the discharge. So 10 megameter cube is your attenuation, and this 6 hour lag is your lag or translation. So this is the way you solve this problem of applying modified pulse method, and it is a little lengthy, but if you can grab it once, you can easily solve it. And you see what happened is this, I will share this spreadsheet so that you can practice. So that you can practice this very well. So if I can recapitulate, let us recapitulate from the problem itself. Elevation, storage, outflow discharge given. Then they say that flood hydrograph hit the reservoir when its elevation is 100.5 meters. So once you got it, what you have is, you already know I1 plus I2 by 2 del T and plus S1 minus Q del T by 2. This LHS is already known to you for initial time scale. 1 indicates the starting time and 2 indicates the ending time. If you consider the period, 0 is the starting time, 6 is the ending time. 6 is the starting time for the second one, 12 is the ending time, like so on. I have said I have given lots of examples for that. The unknown is the RHS side, S2 plus Q del T by 2. So everything this is also then I is the inflow, subscript 1 and 2 indicate start and end time. Reservoir discharge is O, T is the time, del T is the difference of time or length of time period. SS is the storage. So this was the problem, and the solution is given like this, where you see this elevation, storage, discharge is used to find S plus Q del T by 2. This is the unknown part. This is the what I say. This is the LHS part. I am S plus Q del T by 2, and you find this S plus Q del T by 2 for all the elevation, and you draw a curve. Now, where in the y-axis it is S plus Q del T by 2, and in the x-axis this is elevation. I think this is the curve. Okay, so this is the curve. Let me turn on the del T. You see, this is the LHS values 3.35, 3.580 and all this corresponding to the elevation given. And another curve to draw, it is Q. Discharge is also given. You see, discharge is also given. And elevation is also given. Same elevation. So you draw another curve. This is Q versus what you say. This is the Q versus elevation curve. So both the curve has its same base elevation, and once you do it, now I come to the problem. They say that flood hydrograph hit the reservoir when the elevation is 100.5 meter. Data is given, this inflow data is given. So what we do, we draw this table. We straight away find the average inflow. Average inflow means starting time inflow plus ending time inflow divided by 2. I1 plus I2 by 2. Okay, it is very easy. Into del T. Del T is the time difference. For this hydrograph, this flood hydrograph, inflow hydrograph, the time difference is 6. 0 is the initial time, 6 is the final time. 6 is the initial time, 12 is the final time, and so on. So the time difference is 6 hours. And as discharge is in unit is meter cube by second, what we do is we convert it into second, and for the reduction of the numbers, digits, we divide it with 10 to the power minus 6. Sorry, if you are dividing, 10 to the power 6. If you are multiplying, 10 to the power minus 6. Here I have divided, so 10 to the power 6. And now after that, what happens is, so we have that del T. So average I is okay, average I into del T done. Now is the main point, S minus del T Q by 2. This is also known because it is for the initial time. So for when the flood hit the reservoir at that elevation, we calculate its corresponding S minus Q del T by 2. So this is a known time, because a known term, because this is the initial term, starting time. S1 I know. What is the storage at the initial time, or that just at the start of the flood hydrograph hitting the reservoir, and what is the outflow going on at that time. That these two are, we know. Del T is the time difference. It is very easy. So this 3.364 will be calculated with respect to the elevation 100.5, because at the elevation 100.5 only that flood hydrograph hit the reservoir. So now we have done that. So this is the 3.364. Now that rearrange continuity equation, this entire equation, I1 plus I2 by 2 into del T, calculate it. And then this one, S1 minus Q1 del T by 2, calculate it. So add this plus this, find S plus del T Q by 2. So with this, when you find S plus Q to del T by 2, you have a curve already drawn for that, and you can use either trend function or calculate the slope and use that linear regression equation of straight line y is equal to mx plus c to find the y for each x. So y for each x means y for new x also. right? So we can use this trend function. I already discussed about that. So according to that trend function, it will give you the corresponding elevation, and from the other curve of outflow versus elevation, you will get the outflow of that elevation. So first this RHS was calculated. Once you put it into here, elevation will be given, and then when elevation is given, discharge will be given. So put this new discharge and new elevation here. So now multiply this discharge with the del T, the time difference, and subtract it from the RHS of previous time step to find the S minus del T by into Q by 2 of the current time step. This one, for the current time step, okay, this one. Okay, now this you find, this is already you have calculated, add them and find the S plus del T Q by 2 of the current time step. That is the RHS of the current time step. And again you put it into that trend function, you will get a new elevation. New elevation means new discharge. And you multiply that new discharge with the del T, same del T, and you get the S minus del T by del T Q by 2 of the next time step. And already you have calculated the average I into del T. So add S minus del T Q by 2 with that average I into del T. You find the new or the current S plus del T Q by 2. Finding that means again new elevation, new discharges. New elevation is found. From new elevation you found the new discharge. And so on, and you will get this beautiful discharge curve, a new discharge curve, which is supposed to be the characteristic of the hydrograph at the outlet of the reservoir, at the outlet of the reservoir. So the problem was that you have to find that obtain the flood hydrograph by the modified pulse method. So that is the predicted, of course, flood hydrograph with the help of the modified pulse method. And yes, this is the actual hydrograph at the initial time, or intro hydrograph. Peak is 80. This is the predicted hydrograph. Outflow hydrograph or flood hydrograph 70 is the peak. Difference is 10. So this is known as attenuation. And this 80 is this peak by the intro hydrograph was reached at the 18th hour. However, for the predicted hydrograph, this peak 70 is reached at the 24th hour. So 6 hour difference, that is the lag. Okay, so just this is what is the procedure for deriving the flood hydrograph with the help of modified pulse method. If you have this elevation, storage, outflow, discharge data, and this time, this hydrograph, inflow hydrograph data of the flood which is hitting the reservoir. And yes, also that at which elevation, this is also important. If you do not know that, then also it is very difficult to calculate. So with this, I stop this tutorial of modified pulse method, and I think this is the part 5 of the flood routing tutorial that I am discussing with you. So if you like it, you subscribe to our channel and also kindly give me a like, so that I can understand that whether to continue this or not. Thanks and ciao for now.